Welcome everyone back to Hoops Lounge Radio here in the green room. Beautiful setup out Milan. My name is Phil Boileau, aka Sporting Phil, here with my partner Marc Griffin, aka Montreal Marc. How you doing this fine, beautiful day?
I'm good and loving the basketball scene here in Montreal. We'll talk about that as the show goes on, but we're going to start off with Paul George, Indiana Pacer. He's been out of the loop for a good 9 months now. Fractured his leg in August on ESPN national television on a Friday night game.
Which is forever going to be tied to Kevin Durant, right?
And a lot of things, kind of a domino effect after the fact. But surprisingly, he's back and playing tonight.
It can be a lot louder.
For the Indiana Pacers. The question that a lot of people ask, to play or not to play? Do you think he should be playing right now?
I think he should be playing. I think, honestly, look, this team is going for the playoffs, right? And he has to come back, and they can't win without him. Are you really going to risk the whole season with him not coming back?
Well, here's the thing. I had a few conversations about this the last few days, and I brought up Andre Markov with the Montreal Canadiens to give some local flavor right now. And I believe it was last year he had the ACL tear, and he decided to come back for the last few weeks of the regular season. And people were saying, well, why would you do this? Why would you risk injury? Why not wait till the start of next year? I was talking to Arpin Basu, who's a great writer at NHL.com, and we both said, psychologically, you got to know if your wheels still work. You can't sit there all summer, train, have the pressure grow, have you be the star at the start of the season, and still not even know if you can still play.
Absolutely, but I feel we've seen him in some videos in practice, been playing some 4-on-4, 5-on-5, and he looks good. But again, like you said, with the Derrick Rose kind of effect, it's that mental game. Is he ready to lace it up and really trust that leg?
Well, for me, you brought the point, and I'll look at their standings because I looked at this earlier. They're sitting now in the 10th spot in the East, a game and a half behind the Celtics.
But that's wide open, right?
And that's the issue. He's got a lot of pressure on him. I mean, they have to win pretty much every game from now on.
Yeah, because it's not like the Indiana Pacers have a Russell Westbrook at their
So he's going from not having played in basically a year to saying, you're our star, lead us again out of nowhere.
But is that not what every star wants to hear?
I don't know if you want to hear that right away. I got to point this out to you. This kind of shocked me. The team doctor from Indiana said he's going to play tonight, and he's got no minutes restrictions.
Right away?
None.
Right off the bat?
Pretty crazy, right?
It's a little bit surprising. I think... do you think he was coached to say that because they need those W's?
I don't know. I think this is the same.
Boston's playing well.
Well,
playing okay.
This is the same team doctor who let Andrew Bynum sign with them without giving him a physical. So remember that 2 years ago?
So the Indian Bynum effect in every conversation we have here with Hoops Lounge Radio.
But I'm just saying, this is a lot of pressure to put on a young man who is coming back from literally tearing his leg in half to say, you know what, lead us the next 2 weeks and get us in the playoffs.
He's young. I think he can do it. And I think, look, Roy Hibbert, George Hill.
Where they're probably going to have to face Atlanta first round.
But without that star player, they couldn't do it.
No.
Right?
And you know what? Just a testament to Indiana is that they, the last 2 weeks, they've played good basketball. No one expected them to be in this position right now without him.
Well, I think Roy Hibbert secretly wished that he would become Superman in Paul George's absence. But he hasn't really, I think Roy Hibbert is who he is, kind of a defensive stalwart, maybe your third, fourth scorer. George Hill has been playing absolutely fantastic, CJ Miles and Rodney Stuckey. But I suppose the real question is, right, long term, you have Paul George as your franchise. Are you going to force him back considering you don't know if this team can contend, right? Because with Derrick Rose...
I think it's his decision, right?
Well, I think it's yeah, but you get that pressure when you're paying someone that much money. At the same time, you're going to put added pressure to come back and win games. Because with Derrick Rose, we saw that Chicago's a little bit older in the tooth. A lot of their players are approaching 30, if not past it, like Pau Gasol. He needs to come back, and he will come back. I feel this year. With Paul George, they're pretty young. Although, really, I just wanted to point out a side irony that with OKC having lost Durant, we saw how Westbrook was finally able to take his stance and jump in there and become the main scorer. What would happen if they had Lance Stevenson right now?
I don't like the what-if game. You know, Lance went off into Wonderland. It didn't work out for him.
I don't know if I'd call the Bobcats Wonderland.
Well,
I think that's being
his
kind.
perceived Wonderland, let's put it that way. I just, you know, I mean, you have to think back to Larry Bird. Larry Bird's a very, very smart man. He runs this franchise, so I think he's having faith in a situation that could end up being pretty horrible.
Yeah, no, Look, I think it was more attitude than anything else. I think when you play under Larry the Legend, and you have the attitude where you don't really care what happens, and you're blowing the LeBron James' ear in an important game just to instigate one of the most talented players on the planet, you have to question the mental toughness. And I don't think a guy without mental toughness can survive in that kind of an environment. You know, in certain ways, people speak about the Indiana Pacers team organization kind of like the East version of the Spurs. Yeah, on different levels, we'll say. But it's culture first and players who adapt to it.
Yeah, I agree.
As opposed to other teams that are just stockpiling talent and they're kind of juggling their cards, hoping that it all works together.
And they're great at drafting, great at trading. I mean, I wouldn't have traded Kawhi Leonard, but that happens.
But at the time, you didn't know it. George Hill is a productive member of the Indiana Pacers. He's their starting point guard. It's not, and let's not forget, Kawhi Leonard plays the 3. Paul George plays the 3. Maybe he could have played the 2, sure, but Kawhi Leonard coming out of college played a lot of small ball 4. And when you have David West and such, do you really think this young rookie? I thought he was going to be good, but he has surprised me. I covered a lot of drafts. Kawhi Leonard did come out and exceed my expectations, but I think it's tough.
Okay. Getting back to Paul George, bottom line, do you think he should be playing for the next 2 weeks, and what's going to be the repercussions of this?
I think he's saying the right things, and I've seen him practice on tape, and he looks good to me. So I'm going to say yes, because I think he has a chance to, to me the East is wide open. You do have your defensive anchor, you do have nice side pieces. I think they have a chance. If they can stay healthy, I think they have a chance.
Well, I mean, I remember seeing Brandon Roy, a different scenario, but a few years back, he came back from Portland right after a knee surgery, had a great game, and then was never himself again after that. Different scenario. I don't want to see that with Paul George. I think he'll play limited minutes. I think he'll play like, say, 20 a game, and he'll be like a supporting role player, and then if they get in, they'll get blasted by Atlanta.
Okay, but the real question is, if you're going to take that stance,
right?
I don't think you can actually fight for that last spot.
No, I think if they do,
I think Boston's too hot right now. I think Boston takes that 8th, or maybe Miami slips up. Who knows? If they goes back to be healthy. But I honestly think if they're going to play him, you play him full tilt. If not, you're going to make him. You're going to make him wait the whole season.
So Fast and Furious then.
Fast and Furious.
Okay, I don't want Paul playing big minutes. I want him to see him healthy next year for the years to come.
All right, guys. This has been Phil Boileau, aka Sporting Phil, Marc Griffin, aka Montreal Marc. We'll be right back with another segment here on Hoops Lounge Radio.